From the stage to the sideline, and now the studio in his mind, which is really in his basement. It's time for Blevins Nation Podcast. All rock, all football, all the time. Life. It's what happens. Now, here's your host, Coach B.
That's right. We are back with another episode of Blevins Nation Podcast. Episode number 15 to be exact. And we're talking today with Robby Lochner, lead guitar player for Jack Russell's Great White. And he also played with this guy named, Rob Halford. He was in his band called Fight. So, also, I want to give some shout-outs today before we get started here talking to Robby. I want to give a shout-out to Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, my buddy back home in Jackson, Mississippi. Mr. Daryl Arnold is into booking bands and managing them. Also want to give a shout-out to my new sponsor, Green Mantis Hemp. You can check him out at greenmantis.com. Anyway, let's get into the show, and I will give some more shout-outs here in a little while. Hi, we are talking with Robby Lochner from Jack Russell's Great White, lead guitar player, songwriter. When did you and Jack hook up?
Initially, I think it was February or March of 2011 is the first time we actually met.
Mm-hmm.
And a former drummer of Great White, Derek Pontier, brought me and another guy out to meet Jack about potentially doing his solo band.
Yeah.
And he had been out. He was sick, he had all kinds of health issues
Mm-hmm.
that he put himself into, and really no shape to do anything. And then, flash forward, 8 months or so, and the other guy, Dario Satius, who was out there, he's a bass player, he had been keeping in touch with Jack, and I guess they were, talking about doing the band and whatever. And then they had put together kind of a band but hadn't done anything, and then they decided, he kept telling me, you got to get Robby in the band. So
Mm-hmm.
I went over to Jack's place, and he was living in the desert at the time, out, east of me. And then now, by this point, he had bought a boat. He was living in Redondo Beach, and he had gotten married.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in with Dario on his boat and met him again. And then he's looking up, and his first thing he says, he goes, I kind of remember him. I was like, oh, that's nice. We hung out like the first time, and then I came back out and hung out with him another day for a whole day. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, he doesn't even remember. That's too bad. But that night he goes, I'm firing my old band and I'm doing my own version of Great White. Do you want to join? And, my response actually was kind of hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I guess. Wasn't sure about the whole thing. I'm like, and here we are, 6.5 years later. And, still, doing, going strong.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love the new album. I can't wait to hear the other new one that's going to come out this year. Jack was talking about that, and he said something about re-releasing his 2 solo albums. Frontiers
Yep.
was going to, and then also
No, not Frontiers. Not Frontiers. It's Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. Why did I think Frontiers?
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
Well, we were on Frontiers, but we're not on Frontiers anymore. That all fell apart, fell by the wayside. So we were,
Okay.
And it had to do with, a former manager that's no longer with us that,
Okay.
put together a lot of stuff that was just not in our interest.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what about the acoustic version of Once Bitten, Twice Shy? Is that coming out still?
It will be.
Okay.
It will be. I mean, it's very close to being done. Sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only issue right now is, I had Jack come in and we did a bonus track, a Zeppelin tune as a bonus track.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
It sounded. I mean, I had got a new vocal mic and did some changes in my studio, and the vocals sound so much better. The sound quality, and he was singing so much better that we're like, oh man, should we recut it all? I mean, it's like, oh boy. And we did. We redid Save Your Love,
Mm-hmm.
and we redid, was that the, oh no, not that one. We redid, God, I can't think of the name of the song now. God, I can't think of the name of the song, but we redid another one anyhow. Mistreater. It was Mistreater.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they were like, man, the vocal quality is better, his singing's better, everything's better. We're like, boy, should we recut everything else? Should we not? Should we just put it out?
Mm-hmm.
We want, and it does sound good, so I don't know. I'm going to assess it. I just have been so busy the last 2 days with band business. I've just been inundated with stuff that I haven't had a chance to get back in the studio and listen through and just really make that assessment.
Yeah.
But it's really close to being done. And we redid the Zeppelin song where we tracked the drums
Mm-hmm.
in my studio, and it just sounds so good. The other drum tracks that we did on there, some of the songs are just percussion, some of them are drums. But at the time we did it, we had our former manager, and he was pushing us to get it all done in a week. And we're like, this is ridiculous, and there was no way we could do it. So I was like, well, if we're going to try and do it, I sent Dickie to another studio.
Mm-hmm.
And the drums sound good in there. They don't sound as good as they do in my studio, though. They just sound better here.
Yeah.
But they sound good, so it'll be fine.
Well, you can always take the your kick and your snare and replace them. I mean, that's a little bit of work too, but
Yeah.
Just to get that familiar sound together. But
Yeah.
that's work.
I want to put not much more work into it. Kind of want to get the thing done, but
Yeah. Well, very cool. Very cool. Now, what have y'all already started recording on the new album?
No, we've just been writing.
Just writing. Okay.
So we've got material ready, some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to refine it. We've got plenty of material, but we got to refine it. There's a couple of them that are pretty well just like done, arranged, lyrics done, and there's other ones that we just still need to get the lyrics done and just refine them a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like 5 of them. There's actually 2 that are completed, one that's actually recorded because it was going to be on the last record.
Okay.
And we didn't use it on the last record, and it's done. It's sitting there done. I mean, really all it needs is some backing vocal on it, a couple little things.
Mm-hmm.
But we just left it, and then we hadn't listened to it for a long time, and I put it on, and everybody I played to really likes it. It's got a very AC/DC feel to it.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
people seem to really like it, so I'm like, well, you know what? Because Jack was kind of like, I don't know about that song, and because it's a drinking song called One More for the Road,
Okay.
But it's a good sounding track, so I think we're going to use that one. And
So that's cool.
we've got this blues one that's just killer, really good slow blues kind of thing.
Okay.
And then just a few, just some other stuff that's, I would say there's 3 of them that are arranged, lyrically done, everything's done. And then there's 2 more that are close, but we need to tweak lyrics and maybe tweak some melodies and stuff. And then we have about 7 more. We're only going to have 10, but we've got about 7 more that are still just need to sit down and work with them.
Yeah. Okay.
So we just want to, suss through them. But the thing has been time-wise, it's just hard to get in there, especially when there's so much band business at hand, and we're traveling on weekends, and
Mm-hmm.
so
That's cool though. Let's see. I was going to try to come to Sandusky to the bike rally up there. I know y'all are playing that, but it kind of worked out where I'm either going to be at Striper that night because I just did Michael Sweet a week ago, his podcast, but it may work out that I may be here in Cincinnati instead of an hour away doing Mark from Bullet Boys because they're going to be in town the same night. So,
okay.
So, if either of those fall through, I may be in Sandusky.
All right.
So, anyway, well, cool. Where'd you get your start? What'd you cut your teeth on when you first started playing?
What kind of music you mean? What kind of stuff?
Yeah, what kind of music? Band style. I mean, I've seen you play some, Bach and Beethoven and stuff, Mozart. That very cool, very awesome with the finger tapping and stuff. I mean, you're a phenomenal guitar player.
Thank you.
First time I had seen you play, of course, was a few weeks back when y'all were at the Hard Rock, and man, hands down, totally blew me away. Very, very good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks.
Cool. But yeah, what did did you start out with classical or
no? Actually, I started out with like Johnny Winter, Leonard Skinner.
Oh, yeah.
Doing early Rush stuff. Then started doing some Zeppelin. I was a big Deep Purple fan.
Okay.
So stuff like that. Just learning a lot of that. Ted Nugent. Then I got into Schenker, and then Van Halen, and after about that point, I kind of stopped really listening to a lot of that and started kind of getting into Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Paganini, different stuff, and just kind of morphing through different things. But I mean, writing wise, it was I'd always write towards whatever the band was, the sound of the band. I mean, because I've been in several different bands where I write very different. I mean, really pretty eclectic. Like He Saw It Coming, if you listen to the record, it's eclectic. Every song is completely different from another. But this, has the common thread of the band. But I mean, bands past that I had, they would be, I was in one point in a band that was kind of labeled as post-pop punk. It was very punk, kind of like Blink 182, but with a little more guitar playing, kind of more Hendrixy kind of guitar playing, sort of.
Okay.
And I've been in a more like a modern rock band that was pretty eclectic as well, where it had some heavy stuff and then some more melodic kind of stuff, but not really in the blues vein at all. It just depends. I mean, I've done some side stuff that's kind of industrial sounding.
Okay.
So what depends on what it is to what I'm going to write. So with Jack, I try and keep it relatively within the vein that works, that stays true to his roots, my roots, and what the band was to some degree. I mean, we don't want to go backwards and be doing rehashing Old Great White. I mean, I just don't get the point of that.
Exactly.
If you want to hear Old Great White, just put on an old record. We want to do something new.
That's right. So when did you start playing guitar? What age?
I think it was 11, 12, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. My brother actually started, myself and a couple of my brothers and a few neighborhood kids. He was playing. He'd been playing for like 6 months, and he's like, hey, why don't you guys play something? Just kind of goaded us into it. And the next day I got up and I can still picture it sitting in the living room, and there was a big mirror there, and I'm playing in front of the mirror, and trying to do it, Honey Hush, and I was like, couldn't quite pull off the one finger note thing, but just kept going. It just kind of kept going, and some of the other kids in the neighborhood kept going for a while, and then my younger brother played for a while, and but then everybody just kind of slowly faded out, and I was still standing. And then my brother that started teaching us, we actually played in a band together for a while. for a number of years, and then he left kind of early on. The band was named after myself and him. It was called Robby Lochner. Super popular in the Arizona area. Anybody who knew in the time frame would know the band. It was a regionally really big band for the area.
Okay.
But eventually it just kind of faded. Where it was still popular. I knew that if I didn't leave, it wasn't going to happen anymore. It just wasn't. Our time was really kind of up.
Yeah.
It was time to move on and get somewhere where I could meet people and make something happen. And the other guys were a little afraid. I was afraid to move from Tucson to LA, but I knew that I had to do it if I was going to do something.
Yeah.
And they're all, oh no, you'll get swallowed up, and it's whatever, all this kind of scary stuff. I'm like, well, if I don't go, I'm gonna rot here, so I better leave. And really, I wasn't even in California even a year, and I was playing with one of the biggest rock stars in the world.
Awesome.
Rob Halford. Got hired to play with him.
I was going to ask about that.
If anybody doesn't know.
Yes, Judas Priest.
So Rob Halford, Judas Priest.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, with the band Fight. But it was like, just amazing. I'm like, wow. And then, of course, all the guys that I played with were like, oh, my God, you were right. I was like, well, I was like, got to move forward or rot,
Yeah, definitely. Well, it doesn't always work out for everybody like that. But cheers to you. That's awesome to keep going. I always wanted to make it out to LA and never did. And now, well, not now, but when I was still living in Mississippi, so many talented musicians I would tell, hey, if you want to go somewhere, you've got to get out of here, Because Mississippi was not, yes, we've had some people from Mississippi, Elvis Presley, Snoop Dogg,
right.
Three Doors Down, but
okay, all right, cool.
That very few and far between, and that's where the blues started, of course, was Mississippi. But it's not a haven for music, and I've told people all my life, hey, if you want to go somewhere, get out to California and do it, And then I've had some that went and it didn't happen, and but they're still playing music, but they're not.
And see, that's cool, and it's about the enjoyment of it. But
Yes.
really, like in Tucson, where I came from, there was nobody. There was a bunch of musicians, but there was nobody that ever came out of there that made it from there that I know of. Sure, Linda Ronstadt moved away and made it, but
Yeah.
as far as she moved away and made it, she didn't make it out of Tucson.
Right.
It's like you have to leave and then to do something. And I've known some guys. There's Luis Maldonado who currently plays with Train, and he's a killer guitar player, great songwriter, singer, keyboard player, everything. The guy's super multi-talented, and he's making it. He's doing really well in the business. And there's another guy, Barry Sparks, he's playing with the band called the Bees out of Japan, and they're huge over there. Just humongous in Japan. But he's played with Ted Nugent and Dokken and just
Awesome.
a ton of different bands.
Yeah.
So and he lives in Tucson now, but he left, and then he made his way in LA, and then he moved back to Tucson. So it's a matter of moving, and I've known a lot of guys who moved and came back, and so the predominant thought was, oh yeah, you're going to leave and come back with your tail between your legs, and my thought was, I'm going, and I'm just not coming back.
Yeah. Well, that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
And and there's a lot of talented people, but what the thing is that you just kind of got to realize, you just be who you are and have faith in that, and just kind of have faith. If you have faith, things tend to work out.
Yeah.
They just tend to unfold. You'll find your way. It's not, my path's not going to be the same as anybody else's, and nobody else's will be the same as mine, but there's room for everybody to do their thing if you follow your own path. I'm not going to try and follow the path of somebody else. I couldn't possibly. I could never do what Van Halen did. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Or some of the huge acts, but I make my own way and do my own thing, and if people like it, that's great, and if they don't, that's great. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have fun and enjoy what I do, and if you like it, great.
Well, Stevie Blaze, Lillian Axe, he's actually from Mississippi, but of course, the band hails from Louisiana, New Orleans.
Louisiana.
And like let's see, who was it? Razor White. I'm not sure exactly where Razor White was from, either Louisiana or Texas, but they always came and played in Mississippi. And of course, Phil Anselmo was the lead singer of that, and then of course he went on with Pantera. So we've had some some cool cats come through. There's one, I don't know if you know him or not. His name's Dewey Bragg. He actually left Mississippi and made it. He's played with. He was lead singer for Pissing Razors, Kill Devil Hill. He's played with a lot.
Cool.
A lot of people. So
nice.
So yeah, and two of the guys from in Blind Melon were from Mississippi. The guitar player and the drummer. So we've put out a few people.
So Phil was from. Phil was from there originally?
Well, I don't know if Phil was from there. I think he was either Louisiana or Texas. I'm not positive. But his band Razor White used to come to Jackson and play all the time.
Got it. Phenomenal talent.
Oh,
that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
I mean, yeah.
Well, cool. Well, let's see. What's this new album? What's your time frame? Are you thinking?
We'd like it to be done in the fall for a spring release.
Oh, okay.
But we're super busy, and I want to keep to that schedule. That's what we were supposed to do when we were still on Frontiers. And I told Jack, let's try and adhere to that schedule and make it happen. Let's just kind of keep with it, but without the pressure of, hey, you got to have this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But we just, I think we just need to do it.
Okay. What's the big difference between Rob Halford and Jack Russell? I mean, to be honest with you, you've actually played with two of the greatest singers in rock, just two different types of rock, one in heavy metal and one in bluesy rock and roll. Wow, a lot of people can't say that.
Pretty interesting. I mean, he's for Halford, the warm up from what I saw was very, very different. Very different. So I mean, he would go in, he would scream for a couple minutes and then come out and just destroy it every night.
Wow.
Super good. Every night, just super consistent. Whereas, I mean, Jack, he'll warm up he's got this routine he does. It's like 6 hours before the show. These increments of warming up are just very different. And I've heard Jack over all the time. A lot of different inconsistencies where some nights he's really on, and other nights not as much. And for singing, it's I mean, that really goes for anybody. I have good nights, bad nights, like anybody. But for singing, it's extra hard because your voice is just so difficult, different climates, and lack of sleep, and there's just so many factors that really affect your voice. It's the hardest thing to really be consistent with.
The sniffles,
I mean, as far as I ever saw it. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But with Halford, though, he was, every night it was like a machine. I mean, every single night he was just like dead on. It was like shit. You could have had a tape on. It was that good that it was like, damn, you sound like the album every freaking night.
That's awesome. That's one band that I have never gotten to see live yet. I always wanted to, but just didn't make it. It was funny because, like I was telling Jack, that was one of the first concerts I wanted to go to. But of course, I didn't get to because I was only 13. My mom wouldn't let me go. But it was Great White opening for Judas Priest in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah,
okay.
And that was, early 1984. But I know that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a killer show. I mean, it's a trip because knowing having seen them and having no idea that I'd be playing in a band with that. It's like wow. Just it never crossed my mind. As a possibility. I never. You know what I mean? I just never thought that. Oh yeah, I'm going to be playing in a band with that guy someday. Maybe hey, I'll be opening for him someday. But actually playing So when I'm playing and we're playing these Priest tunes and I'm looking out and he's singing, I'm like, okay, I'm stunned. Okay, back to it.
It was surreal. Very surreal.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to ask. Did y'all do any Priest songs, or was it just all, new stuff?
There was 7 Priest songs and 13 of the other. 13 fight songs.
Okay, cool. Who else have you played with?
I've worked with quite a few different other guys, not as extensively really, but I mean, I did a record with Herman Rarebell, used to play drums in the Scorpions for a number of years.
Okay.
We did a record together, acoustic versions of songs that he wrote to the Scorpions, what did we do? Big Rocky Like a Hurricane, a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was pretty cool. And with a bunch of different singers, like Alex Ligertwood, who sang with Santana, and I had played with Alex before, and it was great to hear him on the record because he's a fantastic singer, really good. John Parr was on there, Doogie White, who'd worked with Deep Purple, Bobby Kimball from Toto.
Oh, wow.
Who else? Quite a few other people. I did a performance with Steelheart.
Oh, really?
With Millie, yeah, and he's a great singer too.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of really good singers.
I saw them with Warrant a couple months ago, and he was still not bad. He was still hitting some of it. Couldn't hold them as long, of course, but that's everybody when they get older. But yeah, it was very cool. I hate that I missed y'all.
Eddie Money.
Oh, really?
I worked with that. Yeah. I like Eddie. He's a cool guy. He's different. He's cool. I mean, he's like a super cool personality, and it's just different.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it, but just really cool.
Very cool. Have you? I actually had a couple friends moved out to LA for a while. They did come back, but they did some things. Soundman Jay, he went out and he did a lot of. He's a sound guy and he's phenomenal. He worked with Brides of Destruction, LA Guns,
cool.
all kind of people, And my other friend Daryl, Daryl Arnold, he actually went out and became the bass player for Leif Garrett's band a few years back, which was very interesting because, and they came to Jackson and played, and Leif was really a pretty cool guy, man. Not anything like I thought he would be, So. Hey, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what the heck happened.
Okay. That's weird. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. So.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything. I don't know what the heck was going on. But anyway, that's a good thing about editing. You can cut all that out. So,
yeah.
Now, I was watching some of your videos here of you doing some stuff. Baker guitars. Is that what you were playing the night out at the Hard Rock? I couldn't really tell.
No, that was a Burrell.
Okay.
That was a Burrell guitar.
Okay. All right. But yeah, this Baker one, I've only heard it on some clean stuff, but those are pretty decent sounding guitars. They play good. Yeah,
I like the Bakers a lot. Bakers are cool.
Okay. I've never heard them from around here. I mean, is it a boutique type guitar, or is it I don't guess it's mass produced or whatever?
He's made a lot of them. I'm pretty sure that guy passed away and his daughter took them over, but they're fairly known out of Vegas.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly the whole detail with them, but they do have quite a few of them, and they're nice. They're nice guitars. I also play Gelvin. William Gelvin out of San Diego has built me several guitars, and then this Burrell that it's actually a guy that's kind of in the Riverside area. He builds his guitars for his son, and they were in my studio one time, and I picked it up and was playing his guitars. Hey, it's pretty cool. He goes, yeah, I built it. And I'm like, no kidding. And he was like, I'll build you one. It's like, all right. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I like it, So
that's awesome. And that's what you were playing that night? That's a good sounding guitar.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I like it. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So, where are y'all? Are y'all going anywhere this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to Phoenix tomorrow, and then Tracy, California, which is outside of San Francisco, on Saturday.
Okay.
Then we come back home, the usual routine, and then we'll go out next week on a Wednesday, and we play in Waco, Texas, and in Midland, Texas, with Brett Michaels.
Oh, nice.
And then we'll come home, and then we were supposed to go to Italy the following week, but
the Frontiers,
something's up with that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm not sure what's going on with that. We're waiting to see.
Okay.
The following week we'll be in Vegas, and then, our schedule is busy. We've got a lot of dates, a lot of good stuff coming up.
That's good. That's cool. Yes, I noticed that y'all... now, it's not on any of y'all's stuff yet, but they're still showing it for the... I can't remember the name of the theater, but it's in Wilmington, Ohio.
Okay.
July 29th, maybe?
Okay,
June 29th?
That's not on ours yet.
Okay. I'll send you
be up.
I'll send you a link to that. Because, you do all the booking and everything, don't you?
Well, not the booking. The booking is all through ARM Entertainment. They do the booking. Basically, they send me what the gigs they bring in, and then I'll look at them and say yay or nay. But, everything goes through Jack. There's certain gigs, there's a lot of them, I'll just look at it and go, yep, that's great, thanks. And he knows, he's told me, you know what, you know which ones to say yes to right away. And some of them are time sensitive, and there's other ones that may be a little more questionable, because of the guarantee or whatever. And then I'll be like, okay, let me mill it over, and I'll call Jack, what do you think? And we'll discuss it. And then I'll either accept it or, ask for new terms or something.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll when we get off here, I'll look that link up and I'll email it to you. So,
okay, cool.
For that show, because I haven't seen it on any of y'all's stuff yet. So,
that's weird. It should be up. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen that with a lot of shows when you have smaller venues. I don't know why. Maybe not because it's a smaller venue, but the less traveled, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Not hard rock. Anyway.
Right.
Yep. Well, cool. So you live in Vegas. Where were you from?
No, I live in. I'm
Arizona.
Well, I grew up in Tucson. I live in. Yeah.
Okay.
But I live in Orange County, in Orange County, California.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking Vegas. I think because you said something about Vegas a while ago. And
we're playing there in a few weeks.
No, that's right. Okay. Cool. And so you're in Orange Beach. Awesome. So that's where your studio and everything is?
Yep.
Cool.
It's actually Santa Ana is the actual city. I'm in, but Orange County, California. So, I used to live in L.A. County when I first moved out. Torrance, right by Redondo Beach. Then I moved to the Valley, and then I moved into Orange County, and this is where I'm settled at.
Oh, okay.
I've got a house,
Redondo
wife,
Beach.
kids, the whole bit.
Yeah, Redondo Beach. That's where Vince Neil's from. So I was
is that right?
Yeah, I was a huge Crew fan in the 80s. So, I know probably more than I need to know about those guys. But
nice.
Anyway, well, that's cool, man. Well, I definitely will be back out to see y'all just as soon as you get back over here. And let's see, y'all are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Jack had said something about not the website because of something about the old manager was running it or something. I don't know. I didn't,
Well,
we didn't really talk about it.
The website is JackRussellsGreatWhiteBand.com. The Jack Russell's Great White, the old manager, even though we paid for it, he's, trying to hold it hostage over us.
Oh, okay.
Because for some reason we pay for it and he's got it. He has it in his company's name and, won't relinquish it because, bitterness.
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's just part of it. The ugly side of business where you have to deal with guys who are unscrupulous, and he's one of those.
Well, one of the hardest things to do in life is be a musician. Just because of all the, it's how's the saying go? If you're going to get screwed, it just, how hard do you want to get screwed? Or that was the thing back in the day.
There's always stuff happening, and I think that the best thing is you just kind of, do your thing and just try not to screw anybody over yourself,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And do your best to just treat everybody good, doesn't matter who they are, you treat people nice and, and just hope for the best. And if something, happens along those lines, you just keep moving forward and try and put it in your rear view mirror.
Yeah. Well,
it's really kind of it.
It was a pleasure meeting you, but it was really a pleasure meeting Jack. I mean, I didn't expect him to take to me so easily.
He's very personable guy,
Oh my God, he is, man. He's a wonderful human being. Just totally blown away with that. But everybody takes to me. I guess I'm easy to talk to, So, but anyway, that was very cool of you to get that hooked up. To do a podcast with him, and glad you came on. I'm actually going to do Dan too before long. He's just so hard to get a hold of. He told me, he said, message me on Facebook, and I did, and it was 2 weeks later he's like, oh hey man, so I know he's busy, everybody else is. Y'all keep it up. Definitely can't wait for the new album. So, well, that's going to conclude our show today. I want to thank Mr. Robby Lochner for coming on, sharing some stories with us. I want to throw another shout out there to my sponsor, Mr. Green Mantis Hemp. You can check them out at greenmantis.com. Also, check out Brian Jones and Daryl Arnold, Dirty D, with Dirty Outlaw Entertainment. They're booking bands, managing bands all over the nation. And anyway, you folks stay safe out there. I wish the hell it would hurry up and get spring. And love you. Can't wait to see you. Peace out.